I'd like to thank you all for joining to learn how you can save money with our April EV discounts. My name is Annika Osborne, and I'm with Cool the Earth, an environmental nonprofit with the mission to reduce carbon emissions and local air pollution. While we are big fans of walking, biking, public transit, and carpooling, with our Ride and Drive Clean collaboration, we work to advance a rapid and equitable transition to electric transportations, EVs and e-bikes. I'd like to thank the City of Palo Alto Utilities for sponsoring this webinar and our spring exclusive discounts program. There's the agenda for the day. We'll talk about our exclusive EV discounts first. We'll go into detail about the EVs and trims and the discounts and the savings. Explain how you can sign up to take advantage of these exclusive discounts, and then we'll have a Q&A. So people who are interested in participating in our current campaign, this is a great time for questions that are related to the campaign. We have Jessica Karstens here from Cartelligent, who is able to answer any questions at all about the discount campaign. After that, we're going to do a basic incentives overview. There are several incentives available to get EVs, additional incentives. Many of them are based on income, and so they're available for lower income folks. So we'll talk a little bit about those other incentives available. We'll talk about used EVs, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how to engage more with Ride and Drive Clean, some of our events that we have going on, our newsletter, etc. And then we'll do another Q&A. Launched in 2019, Ride and Drive Clean is a collaboration of nonprofits, agencies, utilities, and CCAs, cities, counties, schools, and businesses, all working together to reduce carbon emissions by advancing electric vehicles. So when you switch to an EV, you can cut your carbon footprint in half in the Bay Area and in California. It's really the biggest bang for your environmental buck. We're here to help you make your next car an EV. So early on, we realized that one of the biggest barriers to going electric is the upfront cost of buying or leasing an EV. And that's why we decided to partner with Cartelligent, a highly regarded car concierge service, to offer exclusive EV discounts. At certain times of the year, they are able to negotiate special pricing on select models, and that's when we run these programs. Over the past 6 years, we've helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars on EVs through our discount campaigns. I'm especially excited about our EVs featured this month, the Kia EV6, the EV9, if you need a bigger car, the Subaru Solterra, and the Volvo EX30. I think this is one of the first times we've ever offered a Volvo on our campaign, discounts on the Volvos, and I'm hearing such great things about that car. These EVs aren't just a great value, though. They're also a lot of fun to drive. So if you've been thinking about going electric, now is the perfect time to take advantage of these special offers. And with that said, I will hand things off to Jessica Karstens from Cartelligent. And before I do, I'm just going to say we will be sending a follow-up email later today with lots of links that we'll be sharing today in this webinar and a PDF of this presentation. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them, or we may hold off until the Q&A sessions. And if you have a question that's urgent, feel free to use the reaction down there to raise your hand. Okay, take it away, Jessica.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's great to see so many people here. It's awesome to see so many people interested in EVs, which is exciting. So for those of you who don't know Cartelligent, we've been around for 26 years. I haven't been with them the entire time. But what we do is we help people buy and lease new cars. That's what we specialize in. We have deep relationships with dealers throughout the state. And so we're able to access better pricing than what most people are able to get on their own. And we're able to deliver a significantly better car buying experience. And so what we do is we help you understand what kind of car you want. We come back and we find real cars with real pricing and get back to you with that. And we can even help you trade in your car. And I love this slide because this shows somebody turning in their old Tesla. And if you think about 5-6 years ago, what was available on the market. It was really just Tesla, Bolt, and Leaf if you wanted an EV. And then they got a brand new BMW iX. And if you think about it, there are so many amazing EVs on the market now. We really have awesome choices. There's performance, there's SUVs, there's lower priced cars. There's just amazing options. There's almost no situation where an EV wouldn't make sense, in my humble opinion. And we're seeing a significant resurgence of interest in EVs, as indicated by how many people signed up for this webinar, because of the gas prices. Honestly, there was a big rush to buy before the EV tax credit went away, and the elephant in the room is always, can you still get a good deal? And the truth is, sometimes some manufacturers are continuing to incentivize EVs, continuing to believe in EVs. And obviously, those are the ones that we're going to pick for these campaigns, the ones where you're actually are getting a fantastic deal. And others are not. And so we're not going to feature those. And those people will have to figure out what they're doing and what makes sense. And this is the kind of information that most people don't have on their own, and that we have at our fingertips, that we can really help you understand what EVs make sense. Cool. You want to go on to the next slide? So as Annika mentioned, we do several of these a year, and we offer exclusive EV discounts on select cars. And so what does that mean? That means that, number one, we're going to waive the Cartelligent fee, which is normally $595. Now, we can still help you with any other car that you want, and we will give you a discount for coming through Ride and Drive Clean. So if you want anything that's not on this list, we'll get you a great deal. We'll make sure that you have a great experience, and you'll still save $100 on our service fee. But for these 4 cars specifically, we are waiving our service fee to make it a little bit easier to help you get into them. And so we're picking cars that we know people like. We're picking cars that we can get an aggressive discount on, in addition to what the manufacturer is offering. And we try to do a little bit of a variety on the cars and the types. So the caveat is that it needs to be contracted by the end of the month. A lot of these programs change monthly. And so we can't guarantee that if you contract on, May 5th, that we're going to be able to honor these prices and incentives. We've got 2 Kias on here, but they're very different. This one is the Kia EV6. This is the sister car to the Hyundai Ioniq 5. And the major difference between the two is the styling. This one's got a little bit more of a curve, I would say. The Hyundai I would call a little bit more aggressive styling. But this is a fantastic car. It's got a great range. It's got a lot of technology in it. And as you can see, it's pretty significant discount. So the exclusive discount that we've negotiated is $1,500 under MSRP. And you can stack that depending on how you pay, with either a lease rebate of $14,600 to $20,000. It depends on the term, like how long the lease is, and it also depends on which trim level. So we're not trying to hide anything or obfuscate anything. That's just how Kia set up this rebate. Flat cash rebate of $10K, or they've also got a choice of finance rebates. So you can get a $3,500 finance rebate with 0% APR, or a $10,000 finance rebate with manufacturer. The dealer gets to set the APR on that. So that's why there's a difference in what the finance rebate is. And if you decide to go with this car or the other Kia that has the same structure, we can help you understand what the differences are, so you can decide what makes more sense for you.
Can I hop in for a sec?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking about the exclusive discounts that we're offering during this month on these 4 cars, the exclusive discount on the Kia EV6 is $1,500, and that gets stacked on top of the lease rebate or the cash rebate or the finance rebate. So whichever way you decide to purchase or lease, you get that $1,500 in addition. And the other thing I wanted to say is, one of the cool things about the Kia EV6 and the Kia EV9 is that they have something called bidirectional charging. So that means that if there is a power outage, you can plug in an adapter and actually power up your refrigerator for a week off of the energy that's in the battery. So so that all your groceries and food don't perish You can also power up a bunch of lights and other, like string lights or other large appliances for about a week. And because we can see the range of this car is really high, the battery is big. So powering up appliances does not use up too much electricity compared to driving. These cars, driving is very energy intensive. So this is a really nice resiliency perk to have with the Kias and the Hyundais and a lot of the trucks like the Rivians and the Fords and such. Okay.
Cool. Let's go on to the EV9. So similar name, but very different car. This is a 3-row SUV, seats up to 7 comfortably. Really nice looking car, in my opinion, and very nice features. Kia has really done an amazing job of transforming their brand to be more luxury, and so this is a great example of that. And it's a pretty reasonable starting MSRP plus 16 to 900 in potential savings. So again, the exclusive discount that we've negotiated, the Cartelligent Ride and Drive Clean discount is $1,000 off MSRP. And then these additional incentives, 12 to 15, or 12,000, almost 16,000 if you lease. Same caveats as before. It's based on the term, and it's also based on which trim level you get. So you get what I mean. 10K cash rebate, and then the finance rebate with 0% or with the dealer APR. Subaru Solterra. This is Subaru's first EV. They've got 2 other EVs coming out soon, but this was the first one, and it's a really nice car. I personally love Subaru, so there you go. I've got a little bit of a bias. It's got a decent range. Exclusive discount of $5,000, so that's pretty good right there. And then lease rebate and finance rebate of $2,000 with low APR and lease rates. So good car, solid option. This is the sister car to the Toyota BZ. They did it as a joint production together. You want to go into the next one? And then our final one, this is the one that Annika's excited about, is the Volvo EX30. Volvo changed their nomenclature recently, so all of the EVs are the EXs. They've got the EX30, 90, and they're coming out with the 60 this year. So this is a smaller car. It's got a nice footprint, especially for city driving. Decent range, and it's a nice looking car. It also has eco-friendly interior, which is kind of exciting if you care about that. It's all built with vegan materials. So $1,000 exclusive discount plus. This is interesting because these are stackable. So I'm going to kind of explain to you what those mean. Lease, cash, finance, I think are pretty self-explanatory. But loyalty means that you have another Volvo in your house. So if you have another Volvo in your house, you can save even more. If you were a Costco member as of last month, you can't go join this month to get the Costco discount. But if you were a Costco member as of last month, there's an additional rebate. It changes depending on whether you're an executive member or a regular member. And then you've also got a home charging credit. And all of these are stackable. So if you lease and you have loyalty and you have a Costco member, you can add all those up, and it gets to some pretty significant savings. So how do you get started? It's really easy. You can go to the Ride and Drive Clean page. You can also, call Cartelligent or go to the Cartelligent page and just say you came from Ride and Drive Clean. You do need to say that you came from Ride and Drive Clean, or we won't know that you're getting these specific discounts. And we're going to give you a call and we're going to talk about it. We're going to say, hey, what are you leaning towards? Have you test driven? What colors do you like? What packages do you like? What's important to you? We're going to go out. We're going to find real cars that exist in the world, or exist in California, to be fair. And we're going to come back with real options for you. And this is why we can't give you a quote right on the first call, is because, again, you want the blue one and you want the whatever package. Bear with me, I'm not the person who knows lots about the packages on cars. We're going to go find those and we're going to come back to you and say, hey, here's what we found. Here's what you want. and then we'll go and secure it for you. And then we'll have it delivered to whatever of our offices is the most convenient for you. So we've got Irvine, Menlo Park, Sausalito, and Walnut Creek. And you get a tutorial and you drive away happy. So we try to make it really easy. It's typically all in, maybe an hour of your time, a couple of 15-minute conversations, 15 minutes signing paperwork, and a tutorial. So a lot easier than going around and spending 4 hours at a dealership.
Which we've all done.
And just really quick, Hassan asked about other EVs. We absolutely can help you with other EVs. As I mentioned, we're not waiving the fee on those, so it is a $495 discounted service fee, and we absolutely can get you a great deal on it. These are just the cars that we featured this month for the program.
All right, next. Okay, I'll take it from here. So a lot of times people ask, should we lease, should we buy, finance, cash? The great news is there are great deals either way you go. So there's really no single right answer here. It really just comes down to your driving habits, your budget, and how much you care about having the latest tech. So for, lease deals have been surprisingly strong in the past few years. So it's definitely worth exploring those lease deals. You're only paying for depreciation, not the whole car, which keeps monthly payments lower. The bigger upside for EVs specifically is you can upgrade every few years as battery range and features keep improving. And they are improving quickly. At the end of your lease, you just hand the keys back, no worrying about about resale. And if you fall in love with the car mid-lease, most agreements will let you buy it outright anytime during the lease. One thing to watch is mileage caps, usually 10 to 15,000 miles a year, with fees if you go over. And also excess wear and tear can also add up at return time. So for buying, it's a higher upfront cost and monthly payments. But once it's paid off, it's yours. Unlimited miles, no restrictions, and if you hold on to it long enough, you'll come out ahead financially. The one real risk is battery technology evolving in ways that may hurt the resale value. That said, if you're the type to drive your car until it dies, that's really not a concern. The bottom line, you want to lean toward leasing if you want lower upfront payments, like having the newest tech, and drive a moderate amount. And lean toward buying if you rack up miles, hold on to vehicles long term, and want the best value over time. Okay, next. So this is how the process works. And actually, at this point, Sienna, do you want to go over to the website so we can kind of walk you through how to do this? And if you see at the top of our webpage, it says save money at the top. You just kind of hover over that, click on EV discounts, and this is where you end up. And then, so can you scroll down a little? Yeah. So we go into a little more detail here about all of the cars that are offered. Can you keep scrolling down a little bit? Great. And this is where you sign up. So if you are ready to have somebody from Cartelligent and a sales advisor call you and talk you through the process and, start talking about getting an EV, you would hit the yes button here and fill out this form. There's a drop-down menu after you put in your main information. You can choose which car you're leaning toward. And if you haven't decided yet, that's okay too. You can put that in there. And then there's the comments section beneath. And this is a good place. Like if you have a trade-in or something, Cartelligent does a great job with trade-ins, or if there's something specific, like you're looking for a particular color, it's nice for the sales advisor to kind of have a little bit of information if you have anything special that you want to add there, and then hit the submit button. And then our database talks to the Cartelligent database, and they will get in touch with you within 24 hours to start talking about getting you an EV. If you're not quite ready yet, you're just sort of exploring, you can hit the no button above that sign up form. And you'll just fill out some information and you'll be notified when the next time we have a campaign. That page did not load. I don't know what's going on. It's a little slow, probably because you're sharing your screen, but that's okay. All right, back to the slideshow. And this is time for Q&A. It looks like there might be some. Actually, before we move on to Q&A, when my colleague Sienna gets the slideshow back up, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about a few things. Great. So a little bit more about who we are. I know some people might drop off if they're only interested in learning about this discount campaign. They might drop off after this. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what's going on. So we have these exclusive EV discounts going on throughout the month of April. That's for new EVs. We're also going to be launching a campaign from mid-April to the end of May for used EVs. It's our pre-owned EV savings program. And because you signed up for this webinar, you'll automatically be on our newsletter. So you'll receive information about our campaign as it becomes available. We actually have a webinar about the pre-owned campaign coming up on April 23rd. This is event season. The sun is shining. I guess there's a little bit of rain in the forecast, but not too much. And so we have a bunch of events coming up. We have one in Vallejo coming up at the end of April, another one in Mill Valley, one in San Anselmo, Palo Alto, Novato. So we have a bunch of events coming up. You'll see those on our events page. And I will put that link in the follow-up email and at the end of this. Let's see, we have ongoing webinars and let's see what else. Yeah, just you'll be getting a lot, a newsletter probably weekly. You're welcome to unsubscribe if you don't want it. No problem. Just we're here to sort of let you know about deals that are coming up and events. Okay.
I'm going to take the test drive question.
Okay.
You can test drive at any dealership, and I'm going to give you some advice on how to not get stuck in a back room. Pro tip I just learned: bring a notebook with you. If dealers see somebody with a notebook, they're going to think, oh God, this is an annoying person who's going to take all my time, and they're going to not want to engage with you as much. But basically what you're going to tell them is, I'm here to test drive. I'm not ready to talk yet. I want to compare a few cars before I decide what I want. So I just want to test drive. I don't want to talk. And that they'll typically respect that. There might be, some pushback, but you don't want to go into the back, spend 4 hours getting sold a car you don't want. They're going to sell you whatever they've got on the lot. They're not going to help you find the car that you're looking for. And maybe they have the car on the lot, but that's my advice. Take it for what it's worth. Hassan asked, will there be other EVs with exclusive discounts in the next webinar, and how often do we have these webinars? There will absolutely be another EV discount campaign. It will have probably different cars, and we haven't decided yet when it's going to be. As Annika mentioned, we typically run a few every year. It's not every month, and it's not a consistent schedule. We do it when the timing works to give people significant value.
Hey, Jessica, I have a question for you. Sometimes people they're not ready to get a new EV this month because their lease is up in June, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good way to handle that? Is there any way to get out of your lease early, or
you have multiple options. Option one is, how much is your lease? My lease was up in October. I got a new EV in July because the Big Beautiful Bill Act said that the rebate might go away as soon as July 5th specifically for the Volkswagen ID4, which is what I drive and what I wanted to get another one. So I got another Volkswagen ID4. I rolled the last 3 payments into that lease. So my payments were a few $100 a month. They added that amount to the total amount that I financed, and it got spread out over the next 3 years. I was able to do that because I was going Volkswagen to Volkswagen. I could also have just made those last 3 payments. Again, they weren't that big of a deal. I could also, and I didn't do this because it didn't make financial sense, I could have bought the car and resold it, and Cartelligent can help you do that. And sometimes, depending on what you drive, we might be able to help you get out of it without having to make any additional payments. We also might not. It really depends on what you drive and what the economics are at that time. But there's always a way out. And the other thing that you can do is you can wait. And if you're absolutely in love with one of the cars that's on these EV discount campaigns, and you think it's a great price, and you want to go ahead and go for it, make it happen. If you don't, and you're willing to roll the dice, then just wait 3 months and we can help you, in May or June. And again, even if we're not doing an EV discount campaign, we can still help you get a great deal. It doesn't matter. We're always here to help you get a great deal on any new car.
Oh, yeah, I see this question about solid state batteries. I was following that really closely. And I think during the pandemic, I was on a webinar just about this, and they were like, by 2025, we'll have some EVs with solid state batteries. I have not heard of any yet, but battery technology is improving all of the time. We can see it's been pretty exciting because in the past, the price of EVs was so high because of the battery, but now the batteries have gotten bigger and more efficient. So the range is a lot longer and the prices have come down. So that's been really great. But yeah, we're also, waiting to hear more information about as, the new battery technology evolves so that EVs can become even more efficient and safer. They're already the safest cars to drive, but yeah. Oh yeah. How about your ID4? How do you like it?
I was just going to type the answer in, but I'll put it in. I'll actually say it. I love my ID4. It's my second one, and it has all kinds of great features like heated seats and massage seats. So I feel very bougie. I've got the panoramic sunroof and everything. But I'm going to tell you flat out, I wouldn't get it right now because it's not a good deal. There's a reason it's not on this campaign. Volkswagen is not choosing to incentivize it. And so people who are choosing to get the ID4 are paying significantly more than I am right now for mine. That could change between now and November, and I hope it does because it's a great car and I'd love to see more people get into it. But right now, unless it's the only car in the world for you, I would advise you to look at something else.
I also wanted to say something about the Kias. One of the cool things about the Kias and the Hyundais is that they have extremely fast charging when you're on a road trip using fast charging. So um, if you are driving down to LA and you get down to 20% of your battery, you can go from 20% of your battery to 80% in under 20 minutes. So it's, just enough time to plug it in, use the restroom, get something to drink, come back and keep driving. So that's also something to consider if you do a lot of road tripping in an EV.
Just on ranges, Kia says 300. My ID4, it says 289 or something like that. I charged it yesterday to 80% and it was at 300. People tell me that's because I drive like an old lady. And so it's entirely possible that I just get exceptionally good range. But I've had very good luck with it. We actually did a video a couple years ago. We had an employee drive a couple different cars EVs to Tahoe and back. So I can speak specifically to this. He did a few of them that were in that 300-mile range, and he was able to get there and back on one charge. Because the up and down, you do use more going up, and then you do use less going down. So it basically worked out. And
yeah, so the regenerative braking, when you're not accelerating, your battery is actually charging when you're going downhill. So that's cool. And it's funny, people do talk a little bit about, like, oh, in cold weather, how is this really going to work? But, Norway is the leading adopter of EVs. 90% of new cars bought in Norway are EVs, and they seem to manage there. It's cold.
For Cartelligent, we do We do require that you register the car in California. We're only able to help people who are planning to register I mean, technically you could truck it. It gets tricky. You're only allowed to drive the car for a certain amount of miles if you're going out state, and then you have to go to the other state and do all the DMV stuff. So it's definitely easier if you're in California.
Ooh, I can take these next two questions. The cost of setting up charging at home for most people, and I do go over this much more thoroughly in my kind of EV 101 webinars and EV 102 webinars, which we'll have a couple coming up as well. But what we recommend for anyone who has a standard outlet available, just plug into your standard outlet. For level one charging, it's called trickle charging, and it's slow, but in 8 hours, you can typically get 40 to 50 miles of range. It's really just about replenishing what you use that day. And in the Bay Area, the average person drives 25 miles a day. So this type of charging works great for most people. If you drive more than 40 or 50 miles every day, we recommend getting a level two charger at home. And really, what that entails is wiring a 240 volt outlet close to where you park your car, and then buying a charging station that you could get at like a big box store or on Amazon, and just plugging that in. So that's really easy. The cost there is really the electrical cost, the electrician's cost, depending upon how long the cables and conduits have to travel from your breaker box to your outlet. But just to give an example, Peninsula Clean Energy did a survey of people who live in the Peninsula Clean Energy service area, and they concluded that 94% of people would be fine just plugging into a standard outlet. So we recommend that you start that way. And once in a while, you might need to go to a fast charging station and charge up a little bit. We did that in our home when we had our first EV for about 2 years, worked out fine, even though we did a lot of traveling on the weekends. By Friday, we drove less during the week. And by Friday, we would have a full tank to go out again the next weekend. And then there are very few repairs on EVs. It's basically adding windshield wiper fluid and rotating your tires, which is something I do every 6,000 miles. I think with EVs, what I'm hearing is you may have to replace your tires a little bit sooner than if you had a gas car, just because the battery is very heavy. But it's not a significant difference, really. But yeah, so there aren't a lot of repairs. There are no services, which is great. I've had a couple of EVs here for 3-4 years. I've never had to service them. And, so super, super easy like that, saves a lot of time and money. To run your battery, yes, all lithium ion batteries, even your cell phones and your laptops, are happiest between 20 and 80%. And to sort of retain the battery integrity, you should keep your battery from 20 to 80% most of the time. So I set my little computer on my car to only go to 80% on the day-to-day, but the night before I go on a road trip, I crank it up to 100%. That way I can use the full capacity of my battery, at least on that first leg. But when I do road tripping, and we do cover this a little bit more in our EV 102, I also typically only charge to 80% because it's pretty fast to go from 20 to 80%. And then all of these EVs have built in this security that the charging slows down significantly from 80 to 100%. For me, it feels like molasses, and I would rather just hit the road and stop an extra time if I need to charge. No harm charging. What is the cost of charging a typical car? Okay. Oh, that's a good point, Tim. Yeah, some EVs right now are offering, 2 years of free charging with Electrify America or EVgo or something like that. Oh, they're not doing that. Okay. Well, it's worth exploring. There are lots of different deals out there. So, although we already talked a little bit about this, early EV drivers paid a high premium for electric cars. Today's EV drivers often save money, and here are some reasons why. It costs much less to fuel an electric car. Has anybody been to the gas station lately? Fueling a gas car can be I would say, 2 to 7 times more expensive than fueling an EV now that gas prices are up so high, really depending upon where and when you charge it. That's what I was talking about. Those time of use rate plans are really helpful so that and then you can set your car to only charge during those times. So I'll give you an example of that. I have solar at home, so I set mine to start charging at 9 a.m. every day. And so it charges from 9, and then I've also set it to stop at 3 p.m. every day because that's when my electricity prices go up. So you do have to sort of like explore that a little bit and see which time of use rate plan is best for you. We talked already about this a little bit. Maintenance costs are 40% lower for EVs, not for plug-in hybrids, but for fully electric cars. It's, yeah, as I said, windshield wiper fluid and rotating your tires. And then there are incentives available that some people qualify for, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. So there are currently, I guess, 4 types of incentives out there that can help save you money. Ride and Drive Clean's exclusive EV discounts through April 30th is one way. That's what we've been talking about today. We're also going to be launching a pre-owned EV savings campaign. That'll be April 15th, just next week, and that will go through May 31st. That is through our partner used EV dealership called eMotion Autos. They have a little bit of a different model. What they do is they talk to you, they guide you through the process and figuring out which EV is right for your lifestyle. And then once you've dialed it down, you tell them what color you want, all of the information, they go to auction to get you the car that you want. And it's really cool because when you look at this nationwide wholesale auction, you can get so many more different cars. I've done it both ways. I bought a used EV at a dealership once, and I'll just say I wanted to get a Volkswagen e-Golf, and I really wanted a light color because where I live, it gets really hot. I ended up with a black one because that's all we had at the dealership. There were only 3 black models used at that dealership, and that's all I could find. So I ended up with the black one. But I've purchased 2 used EVs through eMotion Autos, and I got exactly what I wanted: the right color, the right style, the right trim level. So really, really nice. The difference, I was able to pick up that first e-Golf on the same day as I test drove it. With this, it's a longer process. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks. So if you have that amount of time, it works out really, really great. You'll get what you want, basically, at a really good price. And they guarantee the car so we'll talk more about that in the webinar on the 23rd. There are California state grants available for residents with lower incomes. Clean Cars for All is a retire and replace incentives program. You do need to retire a 2007 or older gas car in working condition. I think it has to pass a smog check in order to qualify. Then there's the Drive Clean Assistance Program that offers up to $7,500 in rebates for income qualifying residents. So that's just based on your income. You could get that grant. For both of these grants, you have to apply for them in advance and receive the grant, have it in hand before you purchase your EV. This could be new, used, lease, buy, cash. So all of these grants qualify for all of those. Then there are some local incentives. So depending upon where you live and who provides your electricity, there could be additional incentives. So some of them have income caps, but everyone who gets their bill from PG&E and gets a used EV qualifies for a $1,000 rebate. And based on your income, you might qualify for a $4,000 rebate. So many of these incentives can be stacked. So that's something to explore as well. So I'll give an example. If you live in San Jose and you qualify for Clean Cars for All for $12,000, you can get that $12,000 grant. You can get if your income qualifies, you can get that $4,000 PG&E rebate, and you can get a $4,000 San Jose Clean Energy rebate, totaling $20,000 off a used EV. And you can get a 2022 Chevy Bolt for about $15,000. We're hearing now with used EVs that they're price parity with used gas cars. So that's a little bit more about incentives. And, I'm not going to really review these next three slides so much. We'll just whip through them. This is info about Clean Cars for All, info about the Drive Clean Assistance Program, info about the PG&E rebate. And there is a savings calculator that I will share in my follow-up email that helps you figure out exactly what you qualify for. There's another great service, Access Clean California. We will drop that in the follow-up email. They can kind of hold your hand and guide you through those incentives if you do qualify for them. All right, next steps. So sign up on the Ride and Drive Clean EV discounts page. Let me throw that in the chat. Thank you. Did you already do that, Santa? You're so fast. A Cartelligent advisor will reach out to you within 24 hours. This is a great time to start test driving the EVs that you're considering. It's nice. Sometimes you can go to like an auto mall and you can go to 3 or 4 different dealerships all in one trip there, compare them almost side by side. Another way to do that is come to some of our events. We have a bunch coming up in the next month. That way, you can't always test drive at our events. At some of them you can, but you can at least sit in them. You can adjust the seats. You can adjust the mirror, see if there are any blind spots for you, and just see which seat is the most comfortable for you. Explore the trunk space and just make sure it's all going to be adequate. And we'll be having some more EV webinars coming up. We're going to put the events on our webpage. Actually, do you want to? We can stop sharing now at this point, I guess. Let's stop sharing for the Q&A, and then maybe you could share our events page. I know we don't have all of the events up yet, but we will have them up really soon. And we will be sending emails every time we have another event. But you'll see on the slideshow when you get this, I think I put the dates of the different events coming up. But we'll have registration. Vallejo and Mill Valley are coming up the 25th and the 26th. San Anselmo on May 3rd. Palo Alto on the 14th. That will be at the YMCA in Palo Alto. And then up in Novato, they're having a whole electrification fair on 5/16. Part off-grid, 7 miles. Okay. How do we find that? Okay. I'm part-time off the grid, 7 miles dirt, rocky road. Are there any EV all-wheel drives? Oh, yes, there are lots of all-wheel drive EVs. In fact, I think on our website, you can sort for that on our car page. Let me just verify that. There are, like half of the models are all-wheel drive now. You can get the Kias, the Hyundais, the Volvos, the Teslas, whatever you're looking for. I don't know if we have a filter for that. I know we used to. Yeah, I don't know if we. Yeah, we do. Okay, I'm going to put our vehicles page in the link. There's a. Let me just go through these questions. You find specific locations. So you're off grid. That could be really helpful, actually, an EV that has maybe one of the Kias or the Hyundais. Also for camping, because you can use that adapter and use the electricity in your EV battery to power up like a small induction cooktop or an electric kettle. So it's very good for resiliency, for your situation, for camping as well. Most SUVs, yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys all for coming today. I want to thank City of Palo Alto Utilities for sponsoring this webinar and our EV discount campaign. And we hope you guys are ready to go EV. We had some really aggressive EV switches over in Q3 last year. In the Bay Area, it was like 40% of new cars were EVs, and that was great. We just want to keep that momentum going, reduce emissions and pollution, and offer people excellent driving experiences. It's so fun to drive an EV.